Peace on Earth. Ethan Indigo Smith here, the philosopher stoned. Here we discuss the esoteric and the exoteric of all things across the entire spectrum, physical to political. We leave no stone unturned. So today I want to discuss and illustrate the Trinity and the duality of polarity, what I call the duality of polarity of initiation through ritual initiation of Freemasonry. This is not to endorse any group. Um, and in fact, the whole point behind this is to actually experience it, to understand the actual experience of it, not to necessarily uh, perform it as a ritual or as a ritual initiation to actually experience this real initiation that life brings us. All right, but let me explain some of the backdrop. So Hiram Abiff experiences the practitioner of this ritual is Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff essentially means the fatherless master, which implies a lot of things, but certainly implies that one is born and developed oneself. Is a allegorical, metaphorical idea behind that. So Hiram Abiff is second to Solomon as the builder of Solomon's temple. And of course, the temple is symbolic for self too. So building your temple is building your mind and your body self-development. Uh, and on what is the eve of his finishing the temple, he is approached by the three ruffians, right? So Jebula, Jebulo, and Jebulum each attack him with different symbolic measures. And uh, Hiram Abiff does not pass. He's killed. So these I would refer, if you want to get deeper into the ritual, to interject myself, to look into the presentations by Manly P. Hall and Mark Passio, who really bring it right and correct on these deeper understandings of this ritual. Um, the three ruffians are symbolic for the three phases that really control the mind. And when one surpasses Jebula, Jebulo, and Jebulum, you become the thrice great. The thrice great alludes to getting past what are essentially impacts on the psyche. Cultural, religious, and government constrictions that we have basically been burdened by and burden ourselves with. Belief systems of earthly, heavenly, and human psyche equations that hinder our free, individualized, individuated self, right? So the thrice great alludes to surpassing these three hindrances of high, middle, and low. And again, spiritual, religious, human culture, government, state, right? Uh, these control systems are represented in these three ruffians via these three institutionalized um, groupings in every place. Um, so being able to surpass these is important, and that is what the thrice great alludes to. The thrice great Hermes Trismegistus, excuse me, and the thrice great Thoth, Tahuti. Uh, so being able to get past these three phases of weights upon the psyche is what the practitioner is what we all aspire to do. And we all experience what Hiram goes through in the mock death and rebirth. And Hiram is in the middle of two pillars, Hakin and Boaz. And these are symbolic for the high, middle, and low, and the severity, balanced, and mercy, and alluding back to the beginning, the earthly, heavenly, and human realms too, right? But also, this Trinity is symbolic of other important trinities, or we can use other important trinities from pantheons to dissect some of the meaning, some of the implications from this trinity of Hiram and the two pillars. Um, a really obvious and explored relationship in the past that has been related to this idea is the trinity of Osiris, Horus, and Isis. And of course, there's the unsaid in that trinity that is Set, Typhon, or Chaos. So basically, the trinity is dealing with the unsaid fourth aspect in that regard, in that set of three and an unsaid fourth. And a really powerful idea to really understand the next level, the fourth, the duality of polarity of initiation, is the Indian pantheon, Trinity, the Trimurti. And we have Brahman, Vishnu, and Shiva. And they embody really simple ideas, but really powerful lessons when you understand that the Trinity is all symbolic for self, and an inspiration for self to be more Hermes Trismegistus, more surpassing those three phases that hold you down. And so the Trimurti represent preservation, creation, and destruction. Very simple ideas. And but when we understand these ideas and apply them to what is the initiation process of gravity and the initiation process of life, I mean to say, in that everyone, the mock practice of the ritual of Hiram Abiff represents the crux that everyone reaches at certain points in their life, where one has to make a decision and is experiencing the pressure of what is equivalent to three ruffians trying to take him in an improper route as he's finishing his project. So there is the two pillars, the two towers of power, is the Yakin and Boaz pillars. And one can see oneself as being the preservation amidst the chaos And the towers of power are your decision making tools. Normally, when people experience pressure and they don't have a good choice, they will choose destructive, there's your destruction and creation pillars. And you're the preservation in that Trinity. This Trinity is represented in all the sets of three that you see in monolithic presentations and deific presentations. Uh, however you say that word, deity, uh, subjugation, verb conjugation, excuse me. Um, so it's not just a matter of being creative or destructive, which again, chances are when people are pressured, they'll go towards a more destructive means. But understanding these towers of power, these pillars, helps present and find better decision making potentials because it's not just creative and not just destructive. You have the four elements in these two towers, and you have the positive creative and the negative creation. You have the negative destruction, and the positive destruction. So, there's always a way to find the positive creative element. Sometimes you might have to be positive destructive, just destruction, because things are forcing you to work that way and in self-defense or whatever number of means. But really the situation is the particular. So the individual finds these contrasts in particular situations. But it's important to know that these two pillars represents the four elements of positive creation, negative creation, positive destruction, and negative destruction. And we can always find a way to be least negative, least destructive in the matter of finding a solution to the present particular problem. And we can find a way to just not pressure ourselves into a self-destructive or mutually destructive decision making pattern. So the Trinity represents preservation and creation and destruction amidst the chaos. And the duality of polarity of initiation, this quaternity represents creative, positive creation, negative creation, positive destruction, and negative destruction as our options to particular situations. Utilize that duality of polarity of initiation the next time you feel pressurization in a situation. It's extremely helpful. I hope this is helpful. I hope that is all helpful to you. Peace.